Well, good afternoon, family. Today is Thursday, March the 12th, 13th, whatever. It's Thursday anyway. And it's 20 after 2 in the afternoon. I'm sitting out here on the porch. It's so windy today, but it's really warm. But the wind just nearly knocks you down, and it's kind of gusty. It comes and it goes, and most of the time it's here and comes. The Gulf is very rough. You can probably hear some of the noise in the background. There's not a whole lot of people on the beach today because of this high wind. Blows you to pieces, I'll tell you. Well, I still have my cold. It's my sore throat is gone, but I'm got a drippy nose, just a head cold, which I'm sure will go away in a day or so. I still haven't quite figured out how I got it, but that's beside the point. We went to Hardell's, Jack and Betty's, for brunch today. There were 13 of us there with the little Kelsey, Jack and Karen's little girl. She sure is a little cute thing. She's 3. She'll be 4 in her next birthday. She had a lovely brunch. We had, of course, Bloody Marys, all you wanted before we ate, and then she had ham and pork sausages and bacon and scrambled eggs and hot rolls, fried potatoes, which were really good. I'm going to get the recipe from her. They've got sour cream in them, and they're baked in the oven. You've maybe fixed them, but I've never had them before. And then she had 2 kinds of stollen and a big thing of fruit. It was really a lovely brunch. We stayed till about, a little after 1, I guess. And I decided it was time we came home, so we kind of broke the party up, but I knew that they wanted to get out in the sun as much as I wanted to get back out, not realizing that it was this windy. But anyway, it was a nice party. We're going to have some chop suey for supper tonight. I've got some leftover beef, and Daddy just went down to the store for me and got some bean sprouts. And I had the snow peas, or the peas here, pea pods. So we're not going to have a real heavy dinner tonight. Not much of it anyway, because we ate so much at noon today. Ron got a hold of us yesterday, but I'm going to let Daddy get into that with you, because he did all the talking mostly, and everything worked out okay, though. So I'll let you go for now and let Daddy say a few words to you. I love you, and I'll talk to you again probably tomorrow. By the way, we mailed you a tape yesterday afternoon, and got that all taken care of. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, it's me this time. The wind is about to blow us off the coast of Florida, I believe. It has caused an uproar in the Gulf of Mexico, and if you want to get knocked down and then get up and get knocked down again, just get out there in it. That's what these people are doing, and they holler and laugh. They think it's funny. But I don't care for that. Your mother told you that Ron did call, and he was in at Grandma's when he called, and he got there as she was getting an enema. I guess so, because he put her on the phone then after she got through. He said he walked right into the middle of it. And she said she sure got cleaned out. I said, well, why didn't you do it on your own? She had diarrhea when we left a week ago. In fact, that was a week ago today when we left. But anyway, they must have given her something for the diarrhea and plugged her up. But I think she's a little lazy, too, and I don't think she moves around enough to get her system working again. But I guess when you're 89 years old and you got somebody to do it for you, just go ahead and do it. That's what she told me she did. I told her, why didn't she call those nurses? I said, what do you do? She said, I just go ahead and do it. I said, well, that's why they get mad at you. But anyway, she was in a pretty good mood, but they still haven't moved her back to Bethesda home. They still got her in Bethesda Hospital. And I asked her why. She said, well, she didn't know. I asked Ron. He said, well, I haven't talked to the nurses or the doctor, and which he should have done before he called me, and then he could have told me, but he didn't do it. He said, I'll talk to him when I leave today. Well, that's all right, but it didn't tell us anything. But anyway, she's all right, and I guess she's enjoying the pampering and whatever they do for you in the hospital. We asked her if she was eating, and she said some, so I don't know what that means. Anyway, enough to that, but back on that same subject, I got a card or a little note from Juanita today, which was very nice of her. We had called her when we were home and told her that my mother was in the hospital. And she wrote a note and said, now when you're in Australia, you tell Ron to, if he has any problems up there, to give us a holler and we will hop on a plane and come up there and help him. She met with Mabel. And so that was awful nice of her to do that. Not many people would do that. So I'll tell him, but I don't think that, we don't anticipate anything. If she gets back into Bethesda before we leave, I will feel good about it. If she doesn't, I don't know what. But anyway, we're planning on leaving Florida, if we don't have to leave any sooner, about the 30th. That's Easter Sunday. Everybody will leave on Friday or Saturday that weekend to get home for Easter, so we thought we would wait till Easter Sunday and probably have a little less traffic, because we have no reason to hurry home for Easter. We don't make many baskets or that kind of stuff anymore. So anyway, that was what we thought we'd do, is to leave here on Easter Sunday, and then we would get home about Tuesday. So outside of that, I don't know anything to say. As your mother told you, we just mailed a tape yesterday. Of course, you will have received that by the time you get this news that I'm telling you, that I mailed it on Wednesday the 12th. But anyway, I guess it's something to say. So we're going to have homemade chop suey, I think, tonight out of a package. And we had that brunch today, so we don't need too much to eat tonight. And it's too windy to barbecue outside on this little gas grill anyway. I wouldn't be able to keep it lit. So I'm going to knock it off for now, and I'm going to say goodbye, but I really do love you all. So, as I said, I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Hello, family. This is now Sunday, March the 16th. We didn't talk to you yesterday, not for any particular reason, just didn't get around to it, and we're so busy doing nothing that that's the way the time went. Anyway, I still have my cold, as you can probably tell. It's just all in my head, no big problem. Yesterday it was bad weather here to begin with. The storm came in and it rained, and boy did it rain and storm and lightning and thunder and did everything just about. We thought the Gulf was going to come up again, but it came up to the seawall and went back down again. Trying to think what we did do. Grandpa and I went to, we went to Pinellas Square to a mall. I'm still trying to find a suit, which I have not found what I want, so I didn't buy anything. I picked up a little piece of needlepoint. It's a seagull. I'm going to make a little picture for the boat. I think it'll be kind of cute. We went to a little shop in the mall. It was called Nautical But Nice. And it was all stuff for boating people and seagulls and all that type of thing, you know. Real cute shop. Came back home, and we were to be at the Hardells at 4:30 last night for our cocktails, and we went out to dinner with them. John and Ruth were there with Karen and Jack and little Kelsey. They're still here because Karen's not up to flying as of yet. They didn't go to dinner with us. There was just Gordy and Dot and Jack and Betty and Ruth and Alf Haney. They're all Canadians, of course. And we went down to a new place called Calb's Cove, which was very nice. It's new this year. You can get a reservation there. Food was excellent. Daddy and I had both had the fried grouper. Too much food, though. We couldn't eat it all. Went back to Jack and Betty's, and it was pouring down rain. I mean pouring. Went back to their place and played, I don't know what the name of the 31. Daddy said it was called 31. You're dealt 3 cards, and the idea is to have, an ace and 2 face cards, and in the same suit. It's an easy game. I'm sure you've played it before. You can knock on 19. Anyway, I didn't win. Daddy didn't win either. We only played 1 game. Took quite a little while for us to get that game played. And today, woke up to the same kind of weather. Stormed all night last night. Stormed again this morning. But by 10 o'clock, it all cleared up, and everything was fine. I went out and sat by the pool from 10 till 12, and then it started to cloud over a little bit. Jack and Karen and little Kelsey came by and came in for a drink. She said that she's feeling much better and that they're going to get out of here on Tuesday, hopefully. Their intentions were to stay 1 week, and they're on their 3rd week now. Tomorrow night, as I told you, we're going to John and Ruth's for corned beef and cabbage. I think he's got quite a crew invited. I don't know how many, but Karen said he had 18 great big potatoes, and he steams them. So he figures usually 1 per person, which nobody ever eats, but that's the way he figures it. Anyway, getting back to today, we called Ron, and he tried to lay a guilt trip on us. He said that he felt that Grandma should have us at home, and we were really feeling that maybe we should go home. So Daddy called the hospital then and got a hold of the nurse's station and then talked to Grandma. They were very nice about putting him on hold, and they went down and got her on the phone, and she said no, she's just fine, not to worry about her. She's doing fine. She can't understand either why they don't let her go back to the Bethesda home, but maybe they have their reasons. I don't know. I don't know what Ron's thoughts are on this, but he said, when are you coming home? And I said, we're going to leave here Easter Sunday. And he said, well, you're not going to be home but a little while, and then you're going to be off again. Sounds to me like he might be a little jealous that we're able to go, and he's not at this particular point. I asked him if, or Daddy did, if he'd been in to see Grandma since last Wednesday, and he said no. He really hadn't had the time. He said he's just too busy. And I would like to have said, well, why can't Kathy go? But I didn't. For a change, I kept my mouth shut. Anyway, I don't know what his thoughts are on that, but it's sure upsetting to think that he has his whole weekends free, and he can't take 1 hour out of his time to run in there and spend 15 minutes with her. But that's Ron, you know. Anyway, getting back to tomorrow, I don't really know if we have any other plans other than going to John and Ruth's. Supposed to be over there at 5, so yeah, if it's nice weather, why, I'll sit outside. If it's not, I think I'll go shopping. I don't have anything green to wear for St. Patrick's, and might get myself a little t-shirt or something. Hardell's came by this afternoon, and I think maybe I told you this earlier, I don't know. Before they left last year, we had decided that the 4 of us would go down to the Keys. So the time has not been right until now, because they've had company, and their company is now gone. And now that we know that Grandma's all right, we're going to head out Wednesday morning and go down to the Florida Keys and spend Wednesday night and Thursday night, and we'll come back on Friday. So it should be a nice little trip. They're fun people and real good company. Probably more so than a lot of the people that we know. Anyway, I can't really think of a whole lot more to tell you. We'll probably take this tape recorder with us and try and record a little bit more as we go along. We're still on side 1, I think. So we haven't heard from you for quite some time. In fact, we haven't heard from you since we got the first tape when Randy just arrived. That was the last time we heard from you, was when Randy just arrived over in Australia, and he's back, of course, and we've talked to him, and everything's fine, so there's no problem there. Haven't talked to anybody else from home. Weather in St. Louis, I understand, is quite nice, in the 50s. Ron did tell us that Mike had tried to call us and that Robin was the only one home. Wrong. Daddy said I'm wrong. Well, that's been 3 weeks ago, is right. But anyway, he asked me today if Mike had tried again, and I said not to my knowledge unless we were not here. And that's quite possible. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off for now. I'm listening to 60 Minutes. It's now 7:15 here. And I've just shut up the windows because it's starting to get real damp outside again. The humidity here has been very bad. This has not been one of the better years weather-wise, really. But every day we keep hoping that it will get better. And if it doesn't, well, that's all right, too. I talked to the Nell Gates today, and they're heading home next Sunday, mainly because they've got a big family affair on Easter Sunday. So she said she thought they would go on in. They've had some of their family down here now for the last 2 weeks. Well, they got 5 or 6 kids. I don't know how many. Earl is home right now. He goes home every couple weeks, so I don't know why. Just for the heck of it, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I don't know any other news to tell you right now, so I'll cut this off for tonight and try and get back to you again tomorrow. We love you. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody down there. Well, you've got me now. Bernice has gone to the, no, not the beauty shop. She went to the Red Brick House, shopping with Betty Hart. And while they were gone, I went up to get our mail, and I got your tape. The one that you mailed to me the afternoon that Randy and Cheryl left. And I was glad to get that. That was quite a long time between tapes, but I realized that with them being over there that it was impossible to do it. And I wasn't bawling you out for that. I was just making a statement. I took a couple of notes while I was listening to it, and I'll try to answer those. One of them was that you wanted to know more about what happened to Clancy. Well, we don't know either. Ron wasn't very informative. He just told us that she was doing, I think, like Duchess used to do, messing every place and wherever she decided to. So anyway, they had her put to sleep. And that's all of that. As far as me drinking B&B, no, I'm not back on B&B. If I said B&B, it was not meant that way. EJ is the type of brandy, but Christian Brothers or any of those famous ones are okay. They're the same. I don't think that EJ and Christian Brothers, I can't really tell a difference, and I don't think there's a whole lot of difference in price. Sheila mentioned stopping at Fiji and getting some booze. Well, Fiji is on our return trip. It's not on our trip over there. We stop at Tahiti on the way. We still haven't gotten an itinerary from Kathy, so I don't know exactly what day we are going to arrive there. One thing, depending on when they don't make those flights every day that stop in Tahiti. And so we might have to either stay one day longer there or leave one day sooner rather than wait for 2 or 3 days for the next flight. But we're not going to linger there. We're going to come on to your place. But the only reason we're stopping there, one thing, we've never been there, and the second reason is it doesn't make quite such a long airplane ride. So anyway, that's what we had on that. As far as, let's see, you spoke about, can't read my own Right. As far as the checks go, I will bring plenty of traveler's checks, and if I should run out, why, then I'm sure you can get a check cashed for me, but I don't think you'll have to do that, because if Randy got by for 500, I ought to be able to. So, anyway, I was kidding. When I heard that, it made me laugh, because Randy forgets that old Dad and Mom paid for a lot of his food and things while he was over there. And there was a lot of things he didn't have to, like probably petrol. He probably didn't have to buy any of that. That was on my list. But don't worry about the money, because we will have some traveler's checks, and I'm sure the denomination won't make any difference if you take them to the bank to cash. So I don't like to take 10s and 20s, because you have to use too many of them and sign your name too many times. So we will probably get some larger denominations of those. I have down here that I don't like something. I don't know what it was. I'll think of that later. As far as Grandma goes, let's see, I'm talking to you on Monday. Sunday, yesterday, I called Ron, and he had not been in there, and kind of bawled me out for thinking that he could go in there, and told me, like he told me that other time, that Nanny made him lose his job. Well, Grandma's not going to make him lose his job either, but he won't go in there on his own time. He tries to go in there when he should be working, and then, but he hadn't been in or called or anything. So I called directly to the hospital, and she is not in intensive care. She is in a room with another lady. And I called the hospital and asked for the nurse's station on the first floor. That's where she is. And told her that I was calling long distance, and that I would like to know if my mother was where she could reach the phone. She said, I will run right down there and change this call down there. And she did, and she hooked us up, and I talked to my mom, and she was just fine. She just sounded good, and I asked her why she was still in the hospital, and she said, I don't know. They don't tell me anything, but I'm fine. I said, well, do you want me to come home? She said, no, I don't want you to come home. She said, you come home when you're supposed to come home. And she just absolutely assured me that she was fine. So that sounds good, and it sounded good to hear her talk, because she didn't even, you know, a lot of times she doesn't speak up or anything, but she did real good. So that made us feel real good. Still don't know what those things I had on the tape. We did get the tape that Sheila talked a whole bunch on, and we did not get one that was all Sheila, but this one that we got, one whole side was practically Sheila, and we just probably didn't elaborate on what she said. Maybe it wasn't, she didn't ask any questions or something like that. As far as when you want a cutoff date, we are leaving Florida on Easter Sunday. That's the 30th. My mail has been stopped to Florida from Baldwin on the 29th, which is the day before Easter. But things that are mailed on the 28th and the 27th still will come here to Florida. And we will probably not be here, because it takes about 4 days for them to get here. So you can kind of figure if it's this tape that you just sent me. Let me see if I have a date on the envelope. Would you believe they don't have a date on the postage thing? There is a stamp on it, but it's so weak that you can't read it. But you evidently can remember that you mailed it the day that Randy left, and if you go back and see when that was, I received it here on the 17th of March. Now that, of course, if you remember, is John and Ruth's anniversary, and he's having the usual corned beef and cabbage. Now, Gateses aren't here. Goldie and Charlie aren't here. Jack Miner's not here. So Hardell, and Gordy are going. John's son and daughter and little Kelsey are still here. I think they're leaving tomorrow if the doctor okays her to fly. So there's not going to be as big a crowd, and he may have invited somebody else that we don't know about, but I don't know. By the way, the song was on that tape, that national anthem of Australia. And there was one on there that was a comical song. I listened to it, but I didn't play it the second time. I don't remember which tape it was on. That's one thing that I've got to try to do, is to buy myself a home computer when I get home so I can put those things in that thing and find them right away. And when they get a little cheaper, I really am going to buy one. But I don't want a great big fancy one for $2,000 or anything like that. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I see them in the paper now for $300-400. And if they're enough to take care of my needs, why, that's what I'm going to do. So outside of that, I don't know a whole lot to say. Your mother's going to be tickled to death when she gets home to hear that we did get a tape from you, and you all sounded like you were sincere about your having a good time, and I'm sure that was a great thing to have the whole family together, even if it did seem like a short time. 2 weeks is pretty long, too, because that's really the only time that I can ever remember that Randy would have had a 2-week vacation. That's pretty good. Of course, Mike, you're used to long vacations, 5 weeks if you want to take them. So, now that I don't have to work anymore, my whole life is a vacation. So that kind of makes it kind of easy to take. So anyway, I don't know how long this thing's got before I turn it around, but I'm talking on a 60-minute tape also. And I really think they're the best deal, and I'm glad to hear that you have decided that that's what you want to do. The tape that was had a bunch of blank stuff on it. I really think that it's possible that, and it would be easy for me to do too, is not to push this. We have a little red button here, and if we want to record, we push it down. If we want to play, we just push that whole bar down. And it is possible that you might have thought you were recording and you weren't doing it. So anyway, that's beside the point. Whatever you said, why, we've talked to you now, and we know that we probably have heard some of it the second time around. I stopped there for a minute because I lost my train of thought. I was going to tell you that John is having his corned beef and cabbage and those great big Irish potatoes that he peels and boils some way. And I could never eat one of those. But the corned beef and cabbage is always good. As far as the lamb goes, when you do a bunch of cooking over there, I ate lamb in the Army, but it was goat or mutton or whatever, and you could smell it for 2 blocks away. So all the way to the mess hall from the street in the chow line, everybody was going bah, bah. So you knew what was cooking that day, but you had to eat anyway because that's all you got, unless you went to the mess hall into the I even forgot what they call them, where you could get a candy bar and a cookie or something. So anyway, I will try your lamb because, as you say, if it's young lamb and spring lamb or whatever they call it, why, I'm sure that it's good. As far as the steak goes, I have tasted Australian beef, and I didn't taste any grass taste to it, but I did not think that it was very tender. But maybe by the time that we get over there, we can find some good ones, even if we have to pay a little bit more. And I will. I'll bring a little bit bigger traveler's check than Randy did. So anyway, if I have to buy opals and all that stuff, I've got to. So anyway, when your mother gets back now from doing it with Betty, why, we'll listen to your tape again, and then I'll let her talk some more on it. I'm going to take one look at this. I may finish this side up myself, so I'll be back in a second. Well, I don't have any more, just enough to say how much more. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye as I usually do. When I get ready to say goodbye, I'll say goodbye. And your mother is due back pretty soon. I don't think they'll be gone a whole lot longer than now. We have today, we got up at 7 o'clock this morning and it was 72 degrees. And I'm sure it's in the mid-80s now. And a slight breeze, and it is absolutely one of our better days down here in Florida. However, this year we have had better weather than usual. I don't know if March has been any better this year, but January and February weren't nearly as cold as they had been in previous years. But anyway, we have got it today, and it sure is pretty. Wednesday, that's day after tomorrow, the Hardells and us are going to go down to the Keys for a couple of days. We're driving from here to Homestead, Florida. That's right out of Miami. That's at the top part of the Keys before you go into the Keys, the gateway or whatever. And we got a motel there, for 2 days. So we're going to stop there Wednesday night, and Thursday we're going to drive down to the Keys, which is only about a 2-hour drive, I guess, from there, and visit down there. They have some horse-drawn carts of some sort to take you around to the historic places so you don't have to walk. And they've got some coral gardens there right out of Homestead, and Everglade National Park is there. And I hope to take a airboat ride. I've wanted to do that for a long time. They have airboats down there that skim the surface and go through the Everglades. And I'm sure that's a lot of fun and probably very interesting too. So we're going to do that, and then we're coming back up here to the Gulf Mariner on Friday. They leave the following Friday to go home, and we leave the following Sunday, Easter Sunday. So the time is getting short, and if Grandma keeps progressing like she does, and I'm hoping that they would move her back to Bethesda. Now, whether or not she can go in her old room or not, I don't know, because she might have to have nurse's care all the time. But whatever, she's all right. So I really am going to say goodbye now, so when I get ready to say goodbye, I usually say I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Good afternoon, family. Today is Tuesday, March the 18th, the day after St. Patty's Day. We had a very nice time at Ruth and John's last night. It was the usual. He had the corned beef and great big steamed potatoes and cabbage and 2 kinds of rye bread and white bread and butter, and then Ruth made a coffee cake that she always makes. It's very good. They had, I think, as I counted, 18 people, including the little girl, Kelsey. The Hardells were there, and the Sabos were there, and of course John and Ruth and Daddy and I, and trying to think who else. There were 3 ladies there, 2 ladies and a man that come down every year, and Ruth plays bridge with them once in a while. They're in a little place pretty close to Ruth and John. They're a little bitty house that's owned by the Azzarellis. And Betty and Carole, who John and Ruth pay their rent to. They're like managers of the Azzarellis things. And of course Jack and Karen and Kelsey. And I'm trying to think who else. Oh, 2 other ladies there. They're up in 301 at the Shores that they had met last year down here. They invited them down. So all in all, it was very nice. It was enjoyable. We Betty and Carole brought some song sheets over that they always bring every year. So we had a sing-along, and when everybody was ready to go home, we finally had to do the hokey pokey. I don't think anybody had too much to drink. It was just a nice evening. We left there at 10 o'clock, so of course we started at 4:30. But it was fun. This morning, we got up fairly early, around 7, I guess. I had a 9 o'clock beauty shop appointment for a perm. So we got on our horse and got our act together, and I went on up there and had my hair done. Got back here a little after 11. The beauty shop's only about 5-6 blocks from here, I guess. I go right up the beach here. And we went to the store. I have to do a load of laundry tonight, and I was out of tide completely. I hated to buy a big box at this late stage of the game, but I'll be doing laundry 2 or 3 more times before we go home. And I have to do up all the linens anyway, before we leave. We had some pictures down at Winn-Dixie, and picked those up. I'll enclose a few in with this next tape. They're not the best pictures in the world, but we wanted to finish up the roll on the camera. Several of them are of Otto and Audrey's boat dock that they had just had put in down there at Fort Myers when we went down with Gates's. Other than that, it's very uneventful. It's a beautiful day again today. I guess it's, I don't know, probably close to 80. And it's a little bit windy, but not bad. We're both, Daddy said it's 85. We're both sitting out here on the screened-in porch. I didn't want to get out there by the pool because the wind is blowing, and I did just have my hair fixed, so you know how that goes. Cold seems to be better. Each day it gets a little bit gone. I'm very nasal in the morning and a lot of sinus drainage, but I'm still taking that Actifed, which seems to really help me. Or it has so far. I'm trying to think what else to tell you right now. I don't have a whole lot. We were hoping to get this in the mail, but we won't now because we've already been down to the store. And I'm sure we'll finish this up, though, tomorrow, and I may even try and post it from the Keys. I don't know if what the post office situation is down there or anything, but if we do finish this up, well, we'll start a new one down at the Keys and clue you in on a little bit that's happening down there. I'm told that it's very beautiful down there and that there's one place that we definitely should go. It's a big hotel called the Buccaneer, and the beauty operator told me, she said it's must go in and at least have a drink. She said it's absolutely fabulous. So I'm sure we'll do that, and we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun trip, even though it's only going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll come home Friday. We're planning on leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning, so we're told that it's a 6-hour drive to where we're going to be, so that should put us in there early afternoon, and maybe if the weather's nice, we're all taking swimsuits, so maybe we can sit out around the pool down there for a little while. I don't know of anything else to tell you right now. John's going to come over and water my plants here on the porch because that impatient that I have blooming has to be watered daily. It just literally falls apart. You wouldn't believe what happens to it. When it was so terribly warm here and the wind was so hot and strong, I watered it 2 or 3 times a day just to keep it going. It's filled too full of dirt for one thing, and it doesn't hold any water on the top. You have to just pour it on there very gently, and it still drips off onto the concrete floor. But anyway, if I can keep it alive as long as I'm here, well, I'll be happy because I'm not planning on taking it home with me. There's no way I could get that home in the car. That impatience, they're so delicate that all you do is touch the blossoms and they fall off. So I'll see if I can find someone here in the condo that lives here year-round that will like to have it and pass it on to them. Also, I'm going to do the same with the begonia. I'm going to take my African violet home and my philodendron. That's the only other 2 I have left. I had my other plant that Daddy got me for Valentine's Day, and Charlie killed it by overwatering it, so I don't have that one to contend with anymore. I'm going to cut this off for now, and I don't know if Daddy has anything to say or not. We didn't get any mail today. but we did get our tape from you yesterday, which we thoroughly enjoyed as usual. And we too are looking forward to being over there and getting there, and I'm sure we're not going to have the right kind of clothes or anything, but like Daddy says, you're not going where you can't buy something if you need it, so that's what I'll do. I'll let you go for now. We love all of you. Take care. Keep well. Bye-bye.
Well, guys, that just happened to be on our radio. We were listening to sitting out here on the porch, and that song came on, and I thought, well, it had a little rhythm to it. Maybe Sheila wanted to do a little jig with it. I think that was lovely. I don't really have a whole lot to add to what your mother had to say. John's party was a success. As usual, he had more food than you'd ever want to eat. He had 18 of those 2-pound potatoes that he makes. And there was 18 people there, and I didn't eat any. And I don't think anybody ate a whole one. So, but he had 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 5 chunks of corned beef. And you know what they are. They're about 10 inches square or something like that. And he had 5 of those things, and he was slicing it up. We had horseradish and mustard and rye bread and cabbage, all you wanted, and it was very, very good. So the entertainment wasn't the greatest because it's the same every year. Betty Hoover brings her song sheets over, and nobody can carry a tune by that time of the evening. And John had green ice cubes, and you couldn't tell whether you were drinking scotch or, well, you could taste it, but didn't look like it. So had them made out of shamrocks, the ice cubes were. So outside of that, it was fine. We stepped over there a while ago just to tell Karen and Jack say our goodbyes to them, because they're going back this afternoon, and they're leaving about now for the airport. I think they fly out about 5:30 or something like that. So we just wanted to tell them goodbye. It was nice seeing them. And so we just walked over, and believe it or not, John was slicing corned beef and heating up the cabbage for lunch. But we didn't stay for lunch, but that's what, well, I know that's what they were having because they had so much left over. But anyway, that was routine with them. We're looking forward to getting away from here and going down to different territory tomorrow. And we have reservations at, I forgot where it is now. Homestead, Florida. That's right before you go down the Keys, and it's below Miami. And I called and got us 2 rooms down at the...
Mike probably knows where that is because there's an Air Force base there.
Yeah, at the Best Western Motel. The Homestead Air Force Base is there. Mike might know about that. Carole, if you remember Coit Kelly's brother Russ was stationed there at Homestead, and so was Ruth. What's Ruth's name? What's Jasper's sister's name? Ruth. Her daughter and son-in-law were Wanda was her name, I think. Wanda Lee, and they were stationed there at Homestead Air Force Base in Florida. Well, there isn't anything about that except it's right before you get on the number 1 highway to go down into the Keys. And that's about a 2.5-hour drive down there, and 90% of it is an old wooden bridge. It's still safe because motorhomes and buses go over it, but we're going to stay at Homestead tomorrow night and drive down into the Keys Thursday, and then back to Homestead Thursday night, and then back here Friday. And on the way, we're probably going to stop and see Woody Stutzman in Lenore. And of course, we can't stop there without seeing the Seibels, but that isn't why we're going, but then we will see them. And we're coming back here, and Saturday night we're invited to Gordy and Dot's mobile home house for dinner. So we're doing pretty good. We're eating out 2 meals and getting a free one. So as you can tell the way I'm talking, I'm just trying to add things to this tape because we don't like to linger on and not get them in the mail. When they get on the second side and pretty well along, we like to get it going. So once again, we sure enjoyed talking to you on the tape that you sent to us, and we will get on the stick and get this one finished up. So I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye. I'm back. I told you a while ago that it was 85 degrees, and there's a whole lots of people in the Gulf. The Gulf of Mexico is warming up. It has been in the 60, 62 degrees all the time we've been down here, and I didn't see on the news or didn't look in the paper, but it has to be warming up because people are just walking in it like it was a heated pool. I don't think it's quite that warm, but I'll bet you it's close to 70. Of course, if your arithmetic is as good as mine, that's still 28 degrees colder than your body temperature, and that is not real very warm. I would rather it would be 85 and then go in there. It would feel refreshing. But anyway, there's lots of people in it. We haven't seen any porpoises this year. I don't know why. Maybe they haven't gotten up this far yet, but usually in March we see them swimming along and surfacing and going down and surfacing, and I guess they're feeding when they do that because this water out in front of us is relatively shallow. You can go out a long way and still be just waist deep. So there's a lot of people laying on their blankets on the sand. We're sitting on the porch, and when we mail this tape, we'll enclose those pictures. There's nothing spectacular about them, but there's a couple of them of your mother sitting actually inside our condo on the carpet with the double doors open, and she is suntanning. So you will see those pictures, and there is, in the late afternoon, there's a lot of sun comes right on inside. However, if we don't want it, we can close these sliding doors, and they are tinted, and it's not uncomfortable. We haven't had the air conditioning on up here yet this year. Really haven't needed it. However, if you're outside, you don't need the air conditioning on the inside, and at night, why, we haven't needed it. So, not that we're trying to save them electric, but then if you don't need it, it's silly to have it on. So that was an afterthought that I decided to tell you about the Gulf and the beach, and it really is pretty, and it's warming up here. And let me see, this is the 18th of March, and we're gonna, I think we're leaving St. Louis on the 25th, leaving California on the 26th, And what day we arrive in Haiti, I don't know. Or I mean Tahiti, I don't know, because I don't know where the international date line is. But if it is the 27th, we will be there the 27th, 28th, and 29th. And I believe that we might get to Melbourne a little sooner than the 2nd. That's when we at first thought we were going to get there. But I'm not able to tell you definitely because Kathy has not given us an itinerary as yet. And we won't get that until, I'm sure, until we get home. But we do have our passports and our visa, and we're all set other than to be assured that we're on such and such airline at a certain date, and we will be on our way. So we're looking forward to that, and you keep telling me that you can bring a bottle of whatever you want to, duty-free, but you haven't said anything about the quantity of that bottle, whether it's a liter, a 750 mil, or a 1.75, or what. I'm sure that we don't have to wait to hear it from you, that we will find out when we go to the duty store. But I realize you can take one bottle, but and I'm assuming that it's a liter. So, but we'll find that out. I'm not pressing you for that information, but it is going to be nice to know what you can do, and we're not going to do anything we're not supposed to do. So, if we need to buy it over there and it's a little more expensive, it's just a little bit more expensive. That's all. So anyway, I really am going to say goodbye for now because I don't have anything else to say. Goodbye.
Hello again. Same day, March the 18th. It's now 6:45. We were so happy to hear from Mike today. I think it was about 20 after 4, maybe, St. Louis time when he called, which was 20 after 5 here. He didn't have a whole lot to say, really. He said he'd been dialing, getting the wrong number. I don't know how that could happen, but I suppose it did. And as far as yesterday, I told Mike that we were over at John and Ruth's. I think I told you that on a previous time. We've had our dinner. We had a hamburger and some fried potatoes with onions and some corn, frozen corn. It was very good. Now we're sitting here waiting for the Wheel of Fortune to come on. I meant to tell Sheila earlier that apparently the papers down here do not carry a follow-up on the soaps because I looked in the paper again Sunday and could not find anything. So as soon as we get home, why I'll send her a thing on how the soaps are going, as I have not watched them at all. When the weather is this beautiful, I can't see sitting inside here watching the TV. So she'll just have to wait until I can get some from home or find out from somebody. Nobody seems to know what's happening on the soaps down here. I guess no one's interested. Anyway, I just wanted to say how happy we were to hear from Mike. And he told us that the Ewings are due there on, I believe he said next Monday. And I know you'll have a good time with them. And he also asked us when we were leaving, and I told him we would be leaving here on Easter Sunday. So that should put us home 2 days after that, which will be, I don't know, the 1st or the 2nd. I don't really know when it will be. But anyway, I'm going to cut it off for now. I just wanted to put this on tape because as I'm so darn forgetful here lately, if I don't tell you everything as soon as I know it, why I forget what I'm doing. So the golf is just really real calm tonight. There's nothing going on out there at all, and there's no one walking. It's just sun has gone down already, and it's just beginning to get a little bit dark. The lights have come on around the pool and on the pier. So we're sitting here watching that. Nothing else, so I'll let you go for now, and I'll get back to you again tomorrow. Probably we're not going to finish this tonight, as I told you before. So I'll take it with me in the car, and maybe when we get to the motel tomorrow evening, I can finish this up. Love you all. Bye bye.
Hi, family. Today is March the 19th, I think it is. I'm not sure. We had a beautiful trip down today with the Hardells, and we are now in Homestead, Florida. They just left here to go back to their room. It's very warm here, humid, really, really humid, what I want to say. Anyway, Grandpa's in bed, and I've just gotten out of the shower. And our trip today was very uneventful. We went out to the Everglades National Park. And we wanted to take a airboat ride, or whatever you call that thing. But the ranger out there advised us not to do that because he said the ones they take out there, they just go through a canal. And he said we would be better off to go back up when we're going back up to Reddington, to go up 41 and take one of those airboat trips, which we're probably going to do. We're going to leave here early in the morning and go down to the Keys and spend the day. As you can see, my head is still very stopped up. Hopefully it's going to get better. I keep thinking every day it is, but so far it's not happened. I'm not talking very loud because Grandpa's sleeping, and I don't want to cause too much commotion here. I do have the TV on, but not very loud. So I will probably talk to you tomorrow. I don't think I have too much left on this tape, but I wanted to clue you in on what had happened today. Not a whole lot, as I said, but it was a nice day. It's been the weather-wise, it's been very, very humid and warm, but cloudy, and we had a few little rain showers here and there, which does not help the sinus condition at all, as you can tell. I will probably talk to you again tomorrow and try and finish this up as we go down to the Keys. We had a beautiful dinner tonight. We ate at a Italian restaurant. Betty and I both had veal parmesan with spaghetti and a beautiful Italian salad. So Grandpa had prime rib, and so did Jack, and they enjoyed theirs too, but I think ours was better. So I will talk to you again tomorrow. Take care. We love you.
Hello, family. Well, we are now back at Reddington Shores. Today is Friday, March the 21st. I didn't get back to tell you about our trip down into the Keys. We were all so tired last night when we got back, but we had a marvelous time. This tape is going to run out very, very shortly, so I'm not even going to start to tell you about it. I'll pick it up on the next tape. This is the last side on this one. We just got home. It's 4:30. Had a real nice day today, except that it was raining when we left Homestead, Florida, which is where we stayed. But we wanted to take one of those airboat rides on the way back up on Highway 41, but it was pouring down rain, so we, needless to say, did not do that. Excuse me. We stopped by to see Woody and Lenora, and we saw the Seibels and had quite a nice little visit with them, and then we came on up. We're planning on going out to dinner tonight. We're going to go down to the boat and have dinner. We'll have about an hour and a half wait probably, but Jack Hardell is going to go down and pick up a ticket and come back, and they can usually give you a time within a half hour when they can seat you, so we'll have a drink here after we clean up. We have another tape here from you. That's why I want to get this one finished. We just picked up our mail, and I want to play the tape, and we love the pictures. They're darling pictures. Those little koalas really look cute. Looks like you all are nice and brown and staying well and healthy, which is the main thing. Everybody down there, we saw Judy, Woody and Lenora's daughter-in-law. She said to be sure and tell you hello, and they have been to Melbourne.
And she said they thought it was a lovely city and a nice place to visit. They've also been to Sydney, and they were at the Fiji Islands, and quite a few places. But she said she remembered what a nice time they had with you, Carole, when you were here.